Hey, everybody.
Hello there.
Hey, everybody.
What's up?
All right. So we are here on SexyNerdScience Season 4, Episode 8 with Xavier Conley. I'm saying that correct? Last name?
Indeed.
Perfect. And if you are unfamiliar with Xavier, he was in our Planet Comic-Con interview with I think we I don't know what we named it, the Black Panther interview, or
I think that's what
yeah. So he was dressed up as Black Panther.
Missed opportunity to say interview with a panther
Instead of interview with a vampire.
Exactly.
You're the worst.
I know.
So he did that interview with us and was dressed as the Black Panther on Sunday. Did you dress all weekend as the Black Panther?
No, it wasn't all weekend. I just did Black Panther for Sunday, I think it was.
Perfect. So we gotta catch up with him right after release weekend and talk about the movie in short. And we didn't want to do anything spoilers for that one because we were live, and just in case anybody at Planet Comic-Con hadn't seen, we didn't want to spoil it for anybody. So you want to kind of introduce yourself, Xavier, and kind of tell people, where you're from and what you're doing with yourself?
Yeah, so I'm from, or I currently reside in Atlanta, Georgia, and I am a professional foam smith, prop builder, and armor maker by trade. So I make, you name the fantasy weapon or armor, and I'm probably going to be able to make it.
Well, that's awesome. Do you have your own company that does this, or do you work for a company?
I have my own company, Ebony Warrior Studios. So started back in 2010 and been at it since then. It's been a really fun process. Things really sort of picked up after I was a contestant on cosplay, Sci-Fi's Cosplay Melee last year, and I won the episode that I was on. So,
oh, very cool. I did not know that.
Yeah,
that's really cool. How did you get into cosplay?
Cosplay really, it started off being a just seeing these armors and weapons in movies. Like my dad raised me to be a super geek, so I saw all these things in movies and stuff that I wanted, but I wasn't going to pay thousands of dollars for them. So I just sat, like, I've always been good at drawing, but then being able to build 3D objects was this untouched gift that I had. It just worked. So
did you start? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Joe.
So did you start with like how did this start? Did you start building stuff first, or did you start cosplaying first, or they kind of go together and then that transition into a company? Or
no, I started building first because my very first cosplay was my own custom Sith Lord, and it was really kind of basic. I got this really nice deal on a Darth Maul cosplay set from Cosplay Sky, and then I made my own mask and gauntlets and everything to go with it. So it was definitely starting with building first, and then I realized how much I really enjoyed becoming these characters, and the cosplay started from there.
Very cool. What conventions did you first start out with?
First convention was Dragon Con, and that's a
favorite for everybody.
Almost that's a very overwhelming convention to go to.
We haven't been yet.
First. Oh, it's you got to have friends to go to Dragon Con. I went to Dragon Con by myself the first time,
Oh man.
And it's overwhelming because of how many, like just the atmosphere, the amount of people. It's really fun, but it's super crazy to do by yourself.
The atmosphere there, what is it like? I mean, like, could you explain it to us? Like, because we have.
If you want to picture Dragon Con, just think of the party convention, because that's literally what it is. Some conventions like Planet Comic Con was not an all-nighter sort of thing. You know, people went and did their own things after the convention closed at, what was it, like 8 or what? Seven or 8. Yeah, right. Dragon Con literally goes till 5 a.m. Like, there are panels all night long. There's is
that at a location or is it a hotel or what is it?
Yeah, so Dragon Con is spread out through several different hotels that are connected to each other in downtown Atlanta. So it's like, it's massive, absolutely massive. And it's, quite frankly, terrifying when you, do it for the first time. It's, once you get used to it, you know the routine and you understand. Like, there's literally somebody wrote a book of Dragon Con do's and don'ts, because it's almost a religion type deal. It's really funny.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
go ahead, guys.
I was to say we've spoken to like Abby and Keith who've done Dragon Con, and I think that was actually one of our destination cons for this year, just to maybe even just go and do smaller interviews because we don't want to, there's not really a place where we can set up our whole setup like we had at Planet Comic Con, but definitely go out and do some interviews and just have a good time and kind of promote there.
Oh yeah.
But last year we wanted to go, but I think Josh had his first day of his last semester or something.
Yeah, because it's on Labor Day weekend. That's Monday is always a school, or Monday.
Yeah.
But Tuesday is a school day, and it's always tough because there's always you have to get out there, then get back in time, and
it goes through till Monday, so we would be missing a day as well. It's a 5-day con.
Where is it at?
Downtown.
It's the Marriott Marquis is Dragon Con epicenter. The Marriott Marquis in downtown Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta.
Atlanta, yeah.
Okay.
So when I went last year, no, not last year, the year before that, I had started class the week before. So I was actually writing a paper at Dragon Con. What was it? Friday or Saturday night, I was writing a paper that was due on Tuesday.
Is that big hotel? There's 50-something stories with the center completely, out of it.
Yeah, that's the one. It actually looks like if you look down from the top, it looks like the inside of the human body. It's like the outside is the ribs, and then the Pulse Lounge is the heart. They literally set it up to look like a human body. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, I was there when back in 2005.
Yeah,
that's when I was there.
Yeah, they changed the carpet since then.
We didn't get to stay there when we were stuck in Atlanta for 36 hours. Dale and I spent 36 hours. We were trying to get to Pomona, California for a Warped Tour show, and we spent 36 hours stuck in the Atlanta airport. Both of us were under the age of 25. We already had our hotel booked in Pomona, and I was super broke and had no money for anything. So we literally just camped out in the airport until we could get back. I ended up going back to Omaha, and Dale ended up going back to Detroit.
The worst part of it was, though, I did all the work and you sat there playing on your computer.
Yeah, well, Dale was the tenured Delta employee, Northwest employee, who knew all the stuff. I was the new hire Delta guy who had no idea what I was doing.
And so it was so confusing that day, not to change off the subject off you, Charles, but it was one of those days where
this is our I hate Atlanta speech.
No, I love Atlanta. I love Coca-Cola, so that's my thing.
We used to work for Delta, and Dale and I both love Coca-Cola.
Exactly. But also I did we were down there, and the day we were down there is the day that it transferred over from Northwest to Delta. So all the systems were brand new. No one knew how to do anything. So when stuff canceled or stuff broke down, no one knew how to transfer the employees around. And also, that was the same day that Michael Jackson passed away. And so it was.
So the 24-hour news networks were just blasting Michael Jackson all day. And it's the same over and over and over again. It was tough. It was being stuck around 24-hour news networks. We ended up going to, we walked by CNN headquarters. We went to the Coca-Cola factory. We
actually went to that hotel, honestly.
Yeah.
In order to get there, we went down to the subway, and it's right outside the door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I actually had a question for you, Charles. Do you want to talk about what do you do on your, daily life, I guess? Not when you're doing conventions or building stuff?
So daily life is I work for AT&T. So daily life is typically going to work all day, then getting off at 8 at night, and then
that's Josh works for AT&T.
Yeah, working at working at AT&T, then coming home working on whatever props and commissions I got going on.
Okay, very cool. What do you do
for AT&T?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
How long?
What do you do?
Oh, what do I do? I'm a sales rep for AT&T, so I do I'm in the store selling phones and TV and internet.
Oh, this is so great.
I have two people to hate from AT&T.
We talk about AT&T a lot here on this podcast.
So we did talk a little bit about Black Panther, and like I said, we didn't get too heavy into spoilers last week because we knew we were going to have you on this week. So we kind of just touched on it in the last podcast, and then obviously in our interview with you. But we've been waiting to get into a spoiler heavy review and kind of nitpick at it, So I think. Are we ready to move on? Does anybody have any more questions specifically for our special guest?
I am ready to talk about some Black Panther. I've been waiting. I stifled myself last week's podcast. First, I think we should get Dale's quick opinion on how he thought about the movie, because we didn't get that last week. And then I think we should have Charles give his thing, and then we should go into our kind of questions or reviews and stuff. So Dale, why don't you take us away here with your impressions from Black Panther?
Awesome. No problem, guys. I thought Black Panther was the best Marvel movie to date, in my opinion. I liked everything about it. I don't think there was a slow part or a part that didn't make sense. I thought that there was plenty of action. There was plenty of storyline. I like the background for everything. I don't know. I can't pick a bad thing about it. I think I said that recently about something else that Marvel did, and overall, I really enjoyed it. I haven't seen it twice yet. Me and Amanda wanted to go see it again this past weekend, but we didn't get a chance to. I don't know. There's nothing that really stands out to me that was, I don't know, one thing. I would say Michael B. Jordan, just the actor, he did a phenomenal job. The actor who played Black Panther, I'm not familiar with his name. He did a phenomenal job. Everyone did a great job. So I can't pick out any one thing that stands out to me. But other than that, I'm willing to talk about anything else. Charles, what did you think?
Amazing beyond words. They said that there is a 4-hour director's cut, and I'm ready for it. I need every single second I possibly can get of that movie. As a person of color, it was. I remember telling you guys last time. It's the experience was unlike anything I've ever been able to take part of. It was fantastic. Just seeing everyone come together for this movie, being able to experience it with everyone. There's no words for it. I'm at seeing it. I think next time will be my 5th time. So,
oh wow,
yeah. So it's honestly it's probably my favorite movie for now. So
it was actually funny. When we were at the Alamo in Kansas City watching it for the first time, they had a African American movies throughout the years, and they focused on superhero movies and whatnot. And one of the movies that they pointed out during the pre-roll was Meteor Man. Have you ever heard of him? I came home the day after I got home. My wife wanted to do something at she went to ladies' night. She does something on with her mom and her grandma on Tuesdays. I get home, I'm sitting there watching the dog, and I watch Meteor Man because it was on TV. Just happened to be on. I was like, I just saw this, and I was very intrigued by it. It was really nice. They're very cool, but I just wanted to put my 2 cents in with that.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Josh, you want to go ahead and kind of, we'll get into some spoilers here, but go ahead and
like my review or
no,
again?
We
reviewed the movie last time.
Our personal opinions on how good it was, but we thought it was good. We thought it was great. We thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. It's up there as one of my favorite Marvel movies. It's right up there as far as like an impact that it has on people. It's right up there with like Wonder Woman for me. And I mean, I'm still a diehard Star Wars fan, and everything Star Wars always makes me happy. So I can't say it's my favorite movie ever, but it is definitely up there, right up there, near and dear to my heart. Like the first Iron Man movie, I think there was a weird like feeling when I walked away from Iron Man 1, where I was just like, man, they got this superhero movie genre, like they did it right. And I mean, now going back and looking at Iron Man, I was like, man, there's so many things they got wrong and they could do so much better. But looking at, Black Panther, that's exactly how I'm feeling. Is I'm like, oh man, they got it right. Like that was everything I needed in a movie. Especially, the subject matter of the movie was, I'm like, that's spot on. My biggest takeaway and I don't know how I feel about this. I'm struggling with the anti-hero movement. I think I like, Deadpool being an anti-hero. I mean, Killmonger in this case being the anti-hero, and then the praise that society gives the anti-hero. I don't know how I feel about it. And as someone who studies philosophy and things like that, I'm taken back to, like the historical stories of like heroes where, your hero is just this all virtuous character. And yes, if they have their flaws, they have their flaws. And you recognize those as flaws.
Do you see those as flaws as something they have to overcome?
Definitely. I mean, the hero's journey is another thing that I really like. It's basically Joseph Campbell I think it was Joseph Campbell. I can't remember the name who wrote it. But he went through and found all these stories like through history of like what heroes do and how it's essentially the same story over and over and over again. And I think that's where anti-heroes really came in, because they don't follow the standard hero's journey. Instead, they follow an outline of a hero's journey, but they go about it the wrong way. and it's really more of a tragedy than it is a happy idolization of a hero.
Which I mean is apparent within. I mean, that's not lost on the movie or a lot of the Deadpool's a little bit more far-fetched, but with Killmonger in this situation, I think that hits it right on the nose. I mean, you have and I disagree with Josh. I mean, I like Killmonger. He was my favorite in the entirety of the movie. Maybe just because I have a man crush on Michael B. Jordan.
I was like, yeah, it could have a big thing to do with Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
But what about there's a new movie coming out called Death Wish, and that has the same style of anti-hero. It has I believe it's Death Wish. I could be completely getting the movies.
That's the one with Bruce Willis, right?
Bruce Willis, yeah, where I believe his daughter and his son, or his daughter and his wife, get killed, and he goes about killing people to avenge his wife. I mean, in that sense, it would be an anti-hero because he's avenging his.
Yeah, I already have issues with that movie.
I was gonna say I haven't seen anything, but just based on that, I mean, that's not. I don't feel like that's an anti-hero situation. I feel like it's just a revenge scenario. I think. I think an anti-hero versus where I go anti-hero specifically with Killmonger is, and I said this in the last podcast. Let me make sure I get it right. I said he's doing it for the right reasons. It's the wrong execution. His aim is, I mean, what happens in the end of the movie where T'Challa brings the outreach center to Oakland? That's all Michael B. Jordan wanted but so he got, the ends justified the means in the way.
Well, I think that was only a very small part of what Killmonger wanted. It was, not only did he wanted Wakanda's resources for people of color around the world, but he also wanted revenge. He was very much a militant version of the African diaspora. So people of color who have completely been separated from their heritage, their background within Africa, who have been, raised in these other countries, who want to know about their roots, who want to go back home, but they also want to get revenge on those that took away that background that they had. So that in itself wasn't right. Every person of color can understand where he was coming from, can understand that struggle, can understand the anger that he felt. But that's the reason that you had the voice of reason within T'Challa saying, I understand the pain you feel, but you have to be better.
And yeah, like I said, that's kind of where I was going. It's not necessarily, I do see that the revenge aspect was part of it, but I think that would come with, like you said, the years of being separated from that. But as the anti-hero, I just think that he, like I said, he wanted what he got, and what he wanted was kind of, or what he wanted to happen versus what the end of the movie kind of came about.
That's my biggest problem, I think, with it is I think a lot of people think that way, that, oh, he got what he wanted. And I think they gloss over the fact that that's not what he wanted. Like, he's not the type of character to be idolized by people for being this great character, because what he really stands for is not what should be the thing. And I think that was my biggest problem with the movie, is I think a lot of people saw it, and because Michael B. Jordan's such a fantastic actor and person, and he really brought a lot of sympathy to that character, that there's going to be a lot of people out there who will then idolize that behavior. And I think that's something that if you look to like even the history of the civil rights movement, I mean, the militant uprising was not the right course of action, even in the civil rights movement. I think it did a lot. I mean, I hate to say, you know, the divide between Malcolm X and Martin Luther King on that, but one of them was kind of calling for a more militant action. The other one was calling for a nonviolent, peaceful protest of it, both wanting the same outcome that still honestly has not fully come to fruition from what they both wanted. But I think the militant action for it was something that I think held a lot of people back.
Well, I guess what the point I was making was not necessarily that it's right. I'm saying that what he wanted was, the smaller thing of what he wanted was to have the outreach center, and T'Challa was not about that. There was no inkling that he was going to do that. Sorry, in my view of the movie, there was no possibility that he was going to do that. Somebody had I can't remember her name, the girl he falls in love with at the end of the movie,
Nakia.
Thank you. She, you know, had mentioned that she wanted to outreach, that they could help people, but also save but there was no. I didn't feel like he was going that way, and
he was shipping like weapons and stuff to different people.
What? He wanted to arm the gangs. He wanted to.
No, I'm not talking about Killmonger. I'm talking about T'Challa wasn't about to send any of Wakandans' resources anywhere. He wasn't thinking about doing that. He wasn't thinking about putting an outreach center out. You know, Killmonger that's what he was saying. He's like, we can help everybody around the world with the resources that we have, because we have those resources. So yes, it was about revenge in an aspect, but the other, you know, if he were not have been a player in the game, then there wouldn't have been an outreach center. T'Challa would not have grown in him. There would not have been any growth in T'Challa either for that. You know, maybe down the road he would have done something like that, but I
think that was a turning point.
It was a big turning point.
Yeah.
What he wanted, or what Killmonger wanted to do, was have there be contact with the outside world from Wakanda because of the resources. And in the end, that's what happened. Whether it was the way he wanted it or the way, you know, they ended up doing it, it still happened.
Do you think it was necessary for Killmonger to be that catalyst that started off, or do you think that he would have made that decision had there not been that conflict there?
I don't know if he would have if T'Challa would have come to that conclusion as soon as he did. Maybe it would have taken, you know, I don't know, 5 more years of conflict or what have you. But I mean, I don't necessarily, you can't say, well, after something's happened that, it may have happened earlier or not. I mean, there's no way of telling. But
one of the things that I think from the movie that stood out, because I would again beg to disagree on that. I think that he would have made that decision earlier, and my evidence for it would be when the Martin Freeman's character got shot in the spine. He had that choice to make. Do we do what we can to stabilize him and save him, or do we, just let him suffer? And he made the choice then to help him. And I think he knew right then and there, either he was going to have to help Martin Freeman's character, and he was going to have to spend the rest of his life in Wakanda and never leave as like a prisoner that they saved, which would have been which actually would have been a pretty good movie too. or he was going to end up releasing him back, and then people were going to be like, hey, like, we saw you get shot in the back. Like, how did you survive this?
Well, I think that's kind of that where that came from, was that he had seen that the ring. So he, like, that was already an inkling. He had already had an inkling that something was a little off, and then had saw the ring hanging off Killmonger's neck, you know. But I mean, like I said, it could have happened before. What do you think, Xavier?
What do I think about what exactly?
Oh, sorry. Whether or not he would have come to that conclusion or come to that.
Had there not been Killmonger in the picture.
I think it definitely would have gotten to that point, but it wasn't going to be, it wasn't going to be anytime soon. Before Killmonger came along, T'Challa was very much about protecting Wakanda. Everything was Wakanda first, and I can understand that. After knowing everything that's gone on around your country, all the things that by being isolated, you've prevented from happening to your people. I can understand why he would want to do that. But then at the same time, the reason Killmonger's fighting is because you have your African brothers and sisters who had this ability to fight for you, who didn't do anything. So he definitely would have gotten to that point, but it wouldn't be a quick process. I feel like with already having Bucky there, having Cap there, I feel like they would have helped the process move along a little bit more if there hadn't been any Killmonger. And also the fact that we don't know where one of those Infinity Stones is. So I feel like if there hadn't been any Killmonger, Wakanda would have had to pretty much open its gates because of, some cosmic threat like Thanos coming in. They would have to, because, hey, Thanos is here now. So it's kind of like everybody knows where Wakanda is because Thanos is trashing the place now. So yeah. It would have come about in a different way, but I certainly prefer the fact that it had been someone like Killmonger that made T'Challa realize there needed to be a change.
Yeah. You brought up an interesting bit there that I did want to bring up here. Do you think the Soul Stone is somewhere within the Wakandan?
There were a lot of references to purple within Black Panther, so yeah, I think so.
I'm really hoping so. There was a part of me that was hoping that we would have a little more solidified, I guess, hint there, but I think that'll be something that happens in the first Infinity War.
Aren't we looking for an orange stone?
Is Soul purple?
I think Soul's purple. So the power.
I'll Google that as we talk.
I think the Power Stone is like Power Stone and Mind Stones are like orange and red. Yeah, I was hoping, like I said, that would be a little more solidified. But like you said, there was a lot of references to purple. So hopefully Thanos doesn't trash the place, because that would really suck.
I mean, in the trailers, there does seem to be a lot of Wakandans fighting alongside the other Avengers to protect essentially the world. This outside threat is something that we all need to unite together to fight against. And I think that's going to probably be the message that's delivered in Infinity Wars.
Yeah. What I really hope is that with the success that Black Panther had, I really hope that they don't relegate those characters to the sidelines like they did with War Machine and Falcon. I really hope that they don't become, this awkward comic relief sort of characters. I hope that they have very prominent roles within the future of the MCU.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I love Falcon. He's one of my favorite, lesser known, not lesser known characters, but like you said, sideline characters in Marvel's comics. But I think that they did do that with him, and the whole Ant-Man banter in the last two movies is kind of just a comedic relief, which is unfortunate because he's got a lot of good storylines to him as far as the comics go.
So not to interrupt you guys, but I'm
No,
going
you're
to
fine.
interrupt. So we have the purple Power Stone, which is in the.
Oh, that's right.
Which is from Guardians of the Galaxy. It should be with the Nova Corps.
Mm.
We have the Reality Stone, which is red, which is the ether.
Yeah.
I can't really find where it's at, but
It
it's
should be
somewhere.
in Asgard,
Something like that.
but now Asgard's destroyed, so I don't know where it's at.
Yeah, somewhere.
It's in it should be at the Collector. Who's got the Collector, or who does what does the Collector have?
I believe the collector has the blue one, which is
Well,
the Space Stone.
Yeah,
And then, yeah, the Tesseract thing.
Thor did give the ether to the Collector at the end of.
So because the Collector
second.
has two stones, I thought.
Yeah, I believe he has the blue and the red.
Yeah.
So then you have the Mind Stone, which is
In Vision.
Vision, and the green, which is the Time one, which is from Doctor Strange,
Mm-hmm.
and the last one is the orange one, which is the Soul Stone.
Okay.
And no one knows where it's at, but most people online think it's actually in Heimdall, which is in Thor. He's the guy that can see all, and that's why he can see all is because his eyes are orange in the movie.
Interesting.
So
So
that's a theory.
sword then, or
What now?
was it in his sword then?
No, it's in his body. He is the stone.
Oh,
Oh, kind of like Fifth Element style.
Yeah. So if he wants to, based on what I've read online and what I've seen online, if they want to access that stone, either take it out of him or something, or kill him or something. I don't know.
well, that's what they plucked that stone from Vision's head in the
trailer.
trailer.
Yeah, well, that was on the outside of him. Like,
No,
this
I know.
is-
I'm just saying. They're gonna. It's not like it's not possible. But yeah. So real quick, speaking of Infinity War and stuff, I guess did anybody want to finish up anything with Black Panther?
Last thing I was gonna say, because, and I don't know if this is gonna be anything. Do we think we've seen the last of Killmonger?
I think so.
Because the rule of thumb within the Marvel universe is if you don't see him die on camera, then they're not really dead.
Yeah, he fell over, but that was from a great distance.
I think we've seen the last of them. I feel
It seemed like
that
he said
was
goodbye.
I think that was a fitting death. That was literally the most powerful line ever uttered in a Marvel movie. Bury me in the sea with my ancestors who knew it was better to die than live in chains. I don't think they're going to bring him back. If they do, that's in poor taste, but that's just me.
I would, because I like the character, I would like to see him come back, but I don't necessarily think it will happen. I'm in agreement there. I think that it will be. I think it. The rule of thumb with Marvel, it was an on-screen death. He fell over, kind of. But maybe the suit had some sort of. He was. He did have the Purple Heart or the heart-shaped flower. And
Heart-shaped herb.
So hopefully, hopefully everything pans out with the Black Panther's next appearance. And
I think I would just really like to see that character essentially, like if he had a second chance, like if they were able to bring him back, with the purple herb even, and give him a second shot at, redeeming himself to help Wakanda and to fight alongside the Black Panther. I think that would be something that they could do to then make the character, more heroic, like an actual hero, because I still don't know if I would say he's, an anti-hero or a hero that, died a tragic death, or if he's actually just a villain. And even then, that's a gray area already tackled in the Marvel universe with the likes of Loki, who is kind of somewhere in between, being a villain and sometimes a good, a chaotic evil in that sense.
Yeah. Well, Daly, got anything else for the Black Panther?
It looks like the Soul Stone might be in Wakanda. I don't know. New stuff came out since the movie. So,
what are they saying?
They're just saying it could be the source of the vibranium. It could be, within the city itself, and that's why people are drawn to it. It does say that the Wakanda will be a big point of interest during the Infinity Wars.
Which I would have assumed that Bucky was there, and that they announced their actual, spot in the I guess what do they call it in the Marvel universe, the United Nations of sorts or whatever, and said that they're a little more advanced than they have led on to be. So, but Infinity War is coming up here, and I'm not sure if it's thanks to clever marketing or Robert Downey Jr. or whoever it was officially, but they are now opening on the 27th of April, and I think that's just so that they can put Avengers symbol on the word April, because that's clever marketing. But we got some more dates announced for Phase 4 of the MCU. They got Infinity Wars Part 2 will be May of 2019. Captain Marvel, March 8th of 2019. Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is July of 2018. And then they have 6 untitled movies, all slated for the 2020 to 2022 key dates. So first quarters of those, then third quarters of those years. So excited to see those. I'm not going to bore you with the untitled and the dates because they're always ever changing. And then obviously you got Spider-Man and Venom coming out within the next, and that's kind of Sony Marvel adjacent.
What's a nerdy movie that you want to see coming out, Charles?
A nerdy movie.
Like, what's the next one that you're the most excited for? Sorry to just put you on the spot here.
It's a good question. I've been waiting. I almost said Halo, but we all know that's never going to happen. They have said that the Gears of War film is in production.
Ooh, that would be
so. I need it. I need my Gears of War, and it better be just as violent as a video game because I need it.
I'm in for Gears of War. Josh, Dale.
I think that would be really sweet to see.
Yeah.
You know, they talked about a Netflix version of Zelda, like a live action Zelda.
Oh my gosh.
For that, yeah.
It was last year around June or July of 2018. They said that was supposed to be, you know, Nintendo or you know, the guys behind Zelda were in talks with Netflix. So that would be something that I would be really excited for.
Speaking of Netflix heroes,
Yeah.
as of Tuesday, Jessica Jones will be premiering on Netflix. Further continuing on what
Season
happened
2.
after the Defenders, I'm assuming. And has there been a Defender TV or Netflix since the Defenders came out yet?
No.
This should be the next one.
So this should be the first one, kind of talking about what happened after the events of the Defenders.
So I've gathered is they did the 4 seasons, the 4 single seasons, and then they did the Defenders, and then now they're going to do the secondary seasons for each of those Defenders, and then
They did Daredevil season 2 already.
well, but that was, I mean,
Charles, what do you think of the Iron Fist?
Oh man, Iron Fist, Danny Rand. Don't get me started on him. That was another ball that was dropped by Marvel. They had so many opportunities to get representation within the Asian community. There was no reason for them not to have an Asian person in a starring role for this character. Everybody wants to talk about, well, Danny Rand was white in the comic books, but we still haven't gotten that Asian character in a starring role yet. And there were so many easy ways they could have turned that character into an Asian guy. Just having him come from, let's say he grew up very Americanized, very separated from his ethnic roots, reconnecting with those roots, discovering the power of the Iron Fist. There were so many easy ways they could have done that, and everybody was calling for it. They were asking for it, but Marvel they didn't care. And that's why I absolutely loved the shade that Luke Cage threw at Danny Rand's way during the Defenders special. Like, that boy got on my nerves.
yeah.
You don't have to announce yourself as Iron Fist every 2
He
seconds.
did it every time.
This,
I thought him as a character was just, you know,
It
he was a chicken. Or
it was
he
Oliver Queen 2.0, realistically, in my eyes.
Well, Oliver Queen seemed to have a better backstory, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, it
It seemed like he, you know, kind of.
okay, so
Danny Rand itself has a okay backstory, but it was very, like Charles said, he announces himself every time. He thinks he's, you know, just the bee's knees. And he's really not.
do you think that Marvel feels that they have some sort of duty to make the duty? Do you think that they have some sort of duty to make the character as close to comic book as they can, or do you think that that's just a sham?
No, because if you're going to talk about them feeling like they have to make the character as close to the comic book as possible, what happened to Heimdall? What happened? I mean, there's a slew of characters that they've changed to make them more diverse, to make their character more interesting. So you can't use that excuse. Marvel can't use that excuse.
For sure.
Because you've already shown that you can, you know, like people have accepted these new characters. You're always going to have those people who have the issue with it because, you know, they're the diehard fanboys or they're racist, you know, but people have accepted these characters, these new ones, these new versions, and they love them. Like, I haven't heard anybody say a bad word about Idris Elba's Heimdall. They love him. His character's fantastic.
He's a great actor.
Yeah. So, and then in the new Thor movie, Valkyrie, she's a person of color now. So I've seen a lot of people throw shade her way because, oh well, she's supposed to be a Norse god, and okay, but show me where in her character is her skin color intrinsic to who the character is. Yeah. Oh, you can't. Right. So Marvel doesn't have any excuse. There was no reason for them to do what they did. It just seemed really the way that they did Iron Fist just seemed extremely lazy to me.
Yeah. And it's not like they used I was not familiar with that actor even beforehand. So it's not like they used a well-known actor to gain that backstory or that credit. I mean, you're 100% right. They could have went with literally anybody else who wasn't white. So, I mean, but, yeah. So back to the main bit here. Jessica Jones season 2 comes out tomorrow or 3 days ago when you listen to the podcast. We talked about this a little bit last week. Are you familiar with Twitch? Do you watch Twitch at all?
I am on Twitch a little bit. I just started. I stream games on there and do a little bit of streaming on Twitch here and there. Not anything major as of yet. Nice. So I know, a little bit about it.
We had a little bit that we talked about last week where there's a 1,000 Dreams Fund, or 1DF for short, is doing, I don't know if you heard the story, is doing grants for female Twitch streamers. And we had a little bit of conflict last week because they had stated that it was, or in one article they had stated it was for only people in college or high school, but they on the actual website they said that it was preferred that they were in college or high school, but they're not limiting it to collegiate or high school students, but they're doing it per academic semester. So, or two their thing says 2 students per academic semester, so it's a little wishy-washy there, but we wanted to see what you thought about that and see how you felt about the Twitch in general and everything like that.
I heard a little bit about it. I don't know too much to really, give my 2 cents. I thought it sounded like there's a million different ways for for guys to achieve things. So I feel like it's, I don't feel like anybody's losing anything.
Yeah, definitely.
Twitch doing this.
We think it's a step in the right direction. We just say we had that, like I said, the little mishap where
last week we weren't exactly 100% clear on it, and we just wanted to make sure that we were clear now that anybody listening to this, if you're a female, feel free to try out for the Twitch stream.
You can apply for the grant.
Yeah, it's an awesome way to, start learning your craft and get that grant money. So,
but next, Josh wanted to talk about something in our pseudoscience-y news here.
It's not pseudoscience yet. Well, first thing, I think we're going to switch it up just real quick here. I just want to first talk about a very heavily featured video that I love talking about all the time. There is a YouTube channel called Smarter Every Day, where we've linked to it a lot of times on our Facebook page. This week's episode of Smarter Every Day that they were watching was around Ready Player One, and taking the things from Ready Player One and making them kind of a reality. So one of the things that Destin, the host of Smarter Every Day, was demoing was a haptic glove. And the science and technology that went into this haptic glove, it just blew me away. I was really excited to see how that went down. And I encourage everyone listening to this, we don't need to go into the details of it, but definitely check out Smarter Every Day.
They're doing like a couple weeks worth of this stuff, right?
Yeah, they're going to go they're going to be talking about VR, immersive reality, haptic suits, haptic like boards, basically everything that was in or that's in Ready Player One. And this is actually a great time for me to say, everybody who has not read Ready Player One or who wants to quickly reread Ready Player One, be sure to check out SexyNerdScience.com/audible and get a 1 month free trial of Audible and a free audiobook and listen to Ready Player One. That's probably my next movie that I am most excited for within the nerd community, is how they're going to do Ready Player One.
2 weeks, right?
I think so. It's very close. I think because we have the Wrinkle in Time and then Ready Player One right after that. So really excited for that. Everybody check out Smarter Every Day on YouTube. Just fantastic. But the thing that's really irking me, really grinds my gears.
March 29th, Ready Player One.
Thank you. On Facebook right now, it's making its rounds. I've seen it a lot. Is a post that just drives me crazy. Has a picture of a car tailgating another car. And the caption of the post is like, I'm one of these people. If I see you tailgating me, I will intentionally slow down to make things worse for you. I have heard, and I've not actually backed this up, that Atlanta traffic is one of the worst places in the United States for traffic congestion. How mad does it make you, Charles, when you're sitting in traffic and you're trying to go a little faster than the speed limit and the car in front of you decides they're going to slow down to essentially play law enforcement officer for you? Because
it makes it so much worse because we already have like our traffic is literally ranked in the world. I think we're up there with
it's like Shanghai and LA.
Yeah. Shanghai and LA, we're up there with them with the worst traffic in the world. And you always do have those people who act like they're it's almost the same level of annoying as that you watch those cop videos where like cops are taking down a suspect and the cops got it, but you got that bystander who wants to jump in and help the cops hold the person down. That annoys me beyond anything. Like, nobody asked you, like, stay in your lane. So it's always that person who wants to act like they're Mr. Vigilante to slow down, and them slowing down is just making the traffic worse.
So I got the numbers here real quick. Top 10 most congested cities in the world: LA 1, New York 2, Moscow is tied for 2, and then London comes in at 7, and then Atlanta comes in at 8.
Yep.
And in the U.S., Atlanta comes in at 4 behind Los Angeles, New York, and San Francisco.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's man, I didn't know that. So there's something that a phenomena with this that is partially stemmed from this, which is called the phantom intersection, which is why I was excited to talk about this. Is because when that happens and somebody has to hit their brakes, it creates what they call the phantom intersection, because then the next person has to brake and the next person has to brake, which causes traffic congestion, for up to 10 to 15 minutes for that one interaction.
Yep.
So that's where that stems from. Now, I understand if somebody is like, I know Dale's going to go this way. If somebody's tailgating you while you're going the speed limit, as long as you don't slow down, and you just stay the speed limit, you know, that's their responsibility. But if you slow down to go, you know,
like I'm all for it. Go.
No,
I mean,
here, let me say what I have to say, because
yeah, because Dale's the anti.
I'm the anti of this conversation. I am the person that slows down for a tailgater. Now, that being said, I'm not in the fast lane, slowing down, pissing people off, you know, trying to, you know, say, hey, this is, you know, you need to go the speed limit. You want to speed? Go right ahead. It doesn't bother me at all. What I am is I'm going the speed limit in the slow lane. And when you're riding my ass, when you can go around me, that's what I don't like. That's when I'm going to sit there and like, you can clearly go around me. I'm not in your way. I'm not bothering anybody. So I'm going to constantly decrease my speed by 1 or 2 until they go around me. And then I'll go back up to 70. You want to go past me? Have fun. Go 70 miles an hour, go 90 miles an hour into a ditch. I don't care. But that's where I do that. But I didn't know that bothered you so much that you had a meme was going around about it.
Oh man, it drives me. So I've been criticized by drivers when I let my autopilot drive. So Charles, I talk about this a lot. I drive a Tesla Model S, so I have the autopilot version 1.0, and I will set my follow distance to 2 to 3 car lengths behind the car in front of me, depending on the speed I'm going. And when I'm in city traffic, usually it's about 2 car lengths. And I have had people at intersections, you know, stop and yell at me through my window that like I'm tailgating them. And I'm like, listen, like my car's doing all the driving. Like I'm not doing anything other than driving. Like I'm being 100% safe. I'm keeping my eyes peeled. Not only is my car able to detect the car in front of me, but it even detects the car in front of the car in front of me. So if there was like a sudden stop or something, my car's stopping anyways. I follow that distance because that's what my car says, you know, it's a safe thing at that time. And the future is getting there, where as more cars have adaptive cruise control features and things like that, and automatic emergency braking, in the sense where, you know, if you can make traffic a little closer together and essentially tailgate, I mean, so long as your car can stop in time, and when you take the human element out of it, it stops more often without human interference than it does on its own, because people suck at driving. It bugs the hell out of me that this is a meme that people are sharing, and people are like, oh my God, I love doing this. And sometimes I'll slow down until they're about to pass me. And then when they try to pass me, then I'll speed up. And I'm like, literally creating road rage because you're not a good driver. Like that's not how you need to do this.
No, I don't think creating road rage should be, you know, the point of it, or, you know, should be allowed.
Like it's crazy. And I love doing this. Never mind. Like it's almost summing up what we were talking about earlier, where like someone's doing something like because their intentions are good, but they're just doing it the wrong way. Like you want to be like, hey dude, stop tailgating me. But what you're doing is just the wrong way to promote not tailgating.
Did anybody say thank you using their hazard lights? Like, is that a thing?
So Bill Nye
it is at night
made a thank you sign that like on his car in the 70s, he could just hit a switch and a little sign would drop down on the back of his car that would say like, thank you, like not sarcastically or anything like that. Like
when I was driving an RV across country, one of the biggest things at nighttime was, as you're going through, you're a big vehicle, and trucks are obviously a big vehicle. As you're trying to pass people, you know, safely, one of the biggest things is a truck will kind of you'll flash your brights just like real quick twice, and then that'll know that the person that's trying to get over or trying to pass you has enough room that they're good to get over. So this way, you know, they still look, obviously, hopefully, but they do it so they know that you understand that they're good.
that's
and vice versa.
Yeah. All right, so we're kind of wrapping up here. Charles, you want to plug into your social media for us here?
Yeah, you can find my stuff at ebonywarriorstudios.com, facebook.com/Ebony Warrior Studios, and Instagram is Ebony Warrior Studios. And then you can find me on Twitter, I believe, because of the character limit. I think it's Ebony Warrior LLC on Twitter.
And all those links are on our page, on all the places where we post this podcast, so you can check Charles out in the links below.
Well, we'd like to thank you for being on the podcast and letting us name you Sexy Nerd of the Month for the month of March here.
Woo!
So we'll share your stuff and everything, and maybe see if we can maybe do a game night or something later on this month. I know it's always fun to do the game nights, so we kind of do like I don't know if you're familiar with the Apples to Apples game.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Or Cards Against Humanity. we kind of do there's an online version that we do every once in a while. So I think it'd be fun. A nice way to break up the monotony of the crazy life that is 2018 already. So, yeah, and you guys can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube as well. At SexyNerdScience, and then we have the Audible link, SexyNerdScience.com/Audible that you can use for a free month of Audible and a 1 audiobook download. And then where can we listen to us, Josh?
You can listen to us at SexyNerdScience.com, SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn, Podcast Addict. Again, I just want to say thank you so much, Charles, for being on the podcast. I really appreciate your input. To be real, it doesn't sound as good talking about Black Panther when it's just 3 white dudes talking about it. It's really nice to get the input of someone who, as a person of color, can get the things that we just can't understand from our point of, I hate to say our point of privilege, but it's totally true. I mean, me and Dale might have grown up in the suburbs of Detroit, but we know nothing of what it's like being a person growing up in, as a person of color. It's just not something that we can relate to. So again, I always want to make sure we thank you for being on the podcast.
Yeah. And I want to say thank you all for being able to understand that, because there's too many people who think that they know it all and they're not able to understand that there is a privilege that comes with, said skin color. So being able to understand that and being able to understand and accept that and move forward with it, that is why I love you guys.
Yeah. Was it we always hear use our privilege to educate people who wouldn't not understand that they have the privilege, to do the same.
That's what we've always been about. I mean, I know we're still always kind of looking for our niche, and I think we're not scared to tackle issues like this, whether it's transgender issues with people like Alexa Hart, or whether we're talking about sexuality and cosplay with people like Abby Darkstar and other cosplayers, or just what it's like to be an African American cosplayer with Night Mage yourself, or even
Papa
Bear, who also, by the way, if you haven't checked out Papa Bear cosplay, he's out of the Illinois region. Did an awesome I can't remember the name of the guy, but one of the ruler of the guys, M'Baku, yeah.
M'Baku, yeah.
Did a great costume for him. Just awesome job. But all these people we have as Sexy Nerds of the Month, like, we do it because we want to make sure that we get your message out there to all of our listeners. So again, very thankful to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
Definitely. Well, thanks guys, and we'll catch you guys next Thursday.
Alrighty.
Bye-bye.
Bye guys.